Hey, Fiend.
Yeah.
My curse content levels, they're dangerously low. I need more curse content to talk about. Oh shit, I found some.
I like this idea that we spent too long covering a show that was nice, so it's like I gotta go watch some shit.
Oh
I gotta
yeah.
go talk about some shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just that, even as a VTuber, I require eating shit content. So yeah, I played Drakengard 3 on my VTube account, and I need to talk about with Fiend because it has a lot of shit, and there's so much to think about, and it has some of that Ruby energy of like, oh, there's something kind of interesting happening here, but everything's broken and everything's stupid, and why is this happening? Doesn't make any fucking sense. Oh god.
Even pre-Melanie, I think I mentioned this in the other pod. Pre-Melanie, when you were just streaming as yourself, to break kayfabe for a moment.
I pre-broke kayfabe.
Yeah, okay, good. Just to be clear. You've played through quite a few of the Yoko Taro games. I got the impression that, like, you quite liked Nier Automata, even if it was a bit strange.
Yeah.
And then Nier was a bit sort of less impressive. Whereas Drakengard 3, from what I saw of your stream, seemed to be bullshit from the start.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just like his pure energy with no one to stop his sinful hands.
Which is funny, because like that's the back with Drakengard was the first one that came out, right?
Yeah, the Drakengard 1, and there was Drakengard 2, which didn't involve him, and we won't be discussing at all in this. You can just forget it exists, basically.
Okay.
And then there was Nier, and then there was Drakengard 3, and then Automata. So everything will be pre-Automata existing in terms of talking about this game.
Ah, okay.
And also, Drakengard 1, I never played, but I did watch a full Let's Play of it, and I will never play that game because the gameplay is janky and shitty enough on this one, and this is the much improved Drakengard 1. So, not happening. Even I can't go that far.
It's called Dragoon in Japan, isn't it? Or something else like that?
Yeah, Dragoon.
Yeah, that's a funny game.
I like it. Yeah, I don't know why it's called that, but whatever.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. There's going to be spoilers for like all the games in this discussion. It won't like touch too much on like the things that are actually interesting about those games, but there's the whole like elements of how they tie into each other, and Drakengard 3 is kind of a prequel to Drakengard 1, so you can't really talk about one without talking about the other.
And then the Nier games are kind of a spin-off of a bad ending of Drakengard 3 or something, aren't they? Like...
No, okay, so Drakengard 1, in Drakengard 1, it's all in this fantasy world, but if you look at the map, it's upside down Europe, so it's kind of like... yeah, so it's like, wait, is this supposed to be Earth or not Earth? But then in ending E, you get teleported to real Earth with like skyscrapers and shit and do a rhythm game.
So it's the ending of... Full Metal Alchemist 2008.
Kind of. But it's like, so ending E was like a silly shitpost joke ending, but it involved you and the big monster angel being teleported to the real world and dying there. And then he was like, wait, what if I kind of explored what would happen if this magical stuff got like integrated into the real world and everything got all fucked up, blah, blah. And so that leads to Nier. So Nier is a spin-off of the joke ending of Drakengard 1.
I mean, it does seem like they don't need to be connected. You could just make your own game. You could make a new one.
No, but I do kind of like it. I like the idea, whatever. But so this one is called Drakengard 3, but a lot of shit happens in it that makes it clear that it's kind of a prequel to Drakengard 1, but none of the endings of this one actually lead to Drakengard 1. They had to make like a tertiary spin-off novel that's like the part of the reality that actually leads to Drakengard 1, but apparently some of that continuity doesn't quite work out either, and Yoko Taro was like, sorry, I forgot what happened in my game. So...
Has he actually said that? Or is that like...
Supposedly, like, because the novels aren't written by him, they're written by like another guy that he has to like do oversight, and apparently he had like kind of forgotten a lot of stuff.
Right. Okay. So it's like a less competent Nasu, basically.
Kinda, yeah. And so here's the thing: if you're a Yoko Taro fanboy, I don't wish to fight you. Like, I think he's an interesting guy that has interesting ideas. I don't think the continuity of a lot of his stuff works out. I think a lot of it's a mess. He's a kind of writer that I wish had, like, another writer to work with him to make it like, hey, we can do all this crazy-ass shit and also have a cohesive story with, like, a story structure. And so I don't hate him. I just don't think he's, like, the super brilliant, amazing auteur that a lot of people seem to think he is.
There's a lot of authors that like work in pairs like that like particularly in screenwriting, where it's just like they have one person who's got all the wild ideas, and they got another person who knows how to write a story that makes sense.
Yeah.
and their powers combined make for a good movie.
And like it gets really hard to talk about because all of his stuff has like 50 different spin-offs, and there's some things that's like, oh, you can only learn this part of the lore if you go into the play and read the booklet for the play. And so anytime it's like, hey, this continuity doesn't work out, you kind of take for granted that like, no, I'm sure if you read the play and the secondary backup novel and the blah blah blah, I'm sure it all works out. I've heard from someone else that that's how it gets together and totally all makes sense. And so you can't ever like actually argue with anyone about any piece of the lore because they'll be like, oh, you didn't even play the Final Fantasy 14 raid, and so how would you know if this is a continuity error?
It's funny because that almost feels like you're weaponizing nerds in a way to defend your bad writing.
But it's like, he does seem like a troll.
No, but it's this idea that you deliberately scatter all of your lore, so there's always going to be someone saying, well, there's there's something they could have done with it.
It's a prey evolution thing.
Yeah, it's like spores.
Yeah.
You're releasing lore spores. You are giving me slight Fate vibes as well in terms of just all of this bullshit lore scattered across that doesn't really tie together.
Yeah.
But I guess at least in Fate they make a point of saying these are all AUs, even though like clearly they're not quite AUs. But
Yeah.
they say this isn't meant to tie together. Don't worry.
And technically he does that a lot. Like there are AUs involved, like with the whole Drakengard Nier split off. But then he keeps hinting at like maybe this is actually this and they're connected this way. Maybe.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because Nasu does the exact opposite, where he hints at something being connected, and then goes, "No, it's not. It's just separate." Ha ha ha.
Fuck off, Nasu. No, we're cool. I don't hate any of these guys. Don't come at me. I just want to talk about how this is a bad game. So here's the thing. Drakengard 3, ba-bum. So sadly, it's like when I got my stuff so I could stream my PS3, I was like, okay, I need to see what PS3 exclusives I've never really like delved into. And Drakengard 3 is like one of the main PS3 exclusives, but that more speaks to how few like really good PS3 exclusives there are still to play.
Yeah, that PS3 was like, what was it? Was Journey on PS3?
Yes.
Because that was always the one I heard about. Like, oh, you should get PS3 just for that. But it didn't seem like the PS3 had a lot of bangers.
No, yeah, like it had a few, but like nowadays, so many of those things also came out on Steam and whatnot. Like a lot of them came out later on other platforms or Steam. So Katamari Forever is really the only thing you need a PS3 for. But here's also the thing. So I bought it and I started streaming. I was like, oh, it's still installing. I'm going to start streaming and we're going to play Drakengard 3. And then instead of playing Drakengard 3, my PS3 just decided to fucking die. I tried so many ways to get it to work. I like reinstalled everything. I was like looking at guides and stuff, and it just would not. My PS3 said, guess I'll die then.
Your PS3 was trying to stop you. Your PS3 was like, no, this is not good content. You should just you should have a lie down.
And instead I thumbed my nose at the gods, and so I ended up emulating it. So I learned about emulating PS3.
Oh God. The best thing is that there will be no reason to ever use that knowledge again.
Oh yeah, no, like I deleted all the files as soon as I successfully finished Drakengard 3.
You purge them.
I was like, I don't want to ever be tempted to come back here. Just get out here. Plus it's like a bajillion gigabytes. Get out of here.
Oh yeah, fair.
But it did work. I will say, like, we never had any problems, and apparently it ran way better than it seems to have run on the actual PS3. Because apparently on the actual PS3 it runs like shit, and so like the gameplay is already pretty slow and buggy, and and so that just makes it even worse. So I guess I had the ideal experience playing Drakengard 3.
I watched you stream a bit of this. I don't generally get to watch your streams because you're usually streaming when I'm at work.
Yeah.
I know I get in trouble. But
who's this cat girl?
I could just listen to it, but really it's just like sound effects and you occasionally going, ah. But,
no, I'm a very interesting streamer. Don't listen to Fiend. If you've never listened to my streams, they're way more interesting than that. I say I have lots of interesting commentary. Just, give me a chance.
It's true. It's true. What I was going to say was I did see the opening of Drakengard 3, which was very edgy.
It was so good. I love it. I mean, that's what I want from like this kind of bullshit over the top Yoko Taro game. I want like the bloody, stupid anime edginess.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you get a lot of that, but you also get a lot of teen boy vibe, sexual innuendo, everybody talking about sex all the time in a stupid way, and it's embarrassing. I just kept wanting to send Yoko Taro to his room. It's funny because he was like, I wanted an RPG for mature gamers. Look at my pee-pee. The pee-pee.
That was your one-line description of Drakengard 3 in the last DG&G episode, was just, haha, my dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you turn the game on, it does that thing where it, like, plays some of the dialogue from the game and shows some random cutscenes footage. And the first thing you hear is, Zero, I gotta find a bush. I need to pee. And then it's like, it's like a very dramatic cutscenes. So at least you know what you're getting into.
He's such a loser. This is what's so funny about everyone treating him like he's an auteur with these interesting ideas. It's like, yeah, he does have those, but he's also like...
He's just an interesting goofus.
He's also just clearly extremely juvenile too. Like,
yeah, he's just living his best life.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose that's fair.
Again, like, that's why I don't hate him. I'm more salty about people that are like, God, he's just so genius. He really brings it all together in the best way. So many things that happen in this game don't make any sense with the endings. Like, It just doesn't work out. But the game opens, very dramatic painting visuals. Long ago, there was like war and shit. But then 5 holy songstresses called the Intoners descended upon the land and brought peace. So there's 5 magical girl kind of things. And mankind enjoyed an age of sweet reverie, basking in the newfound light of stab. And I love it. So you find out that it's like actually diegetic, and the guy who is narrating is a guy who was like making those paintings or writing them, and Zero has stabbed him. Blood everywhere. Shut the fuck up, guy.
Just like the idea that, it was diegetic because this guy was sitting here and reading a voiceover over his own painting, I guess.
Or maybe like that's just the game reading out loud what he was writing. I don't know.
It's silly.
But yeah, it is very funny because it's like, oh, damn, here's Zero. Here she is. She fucking killed this guy. She jumps out, starts killing a bunch of guys. Damn.
Yeah, and then she goes down to the courtyard and kills a million guys because it's that sort of game.
It's so fucking anime and stupid. So here's the thing. Zero, her design is stupid, but in a way where, like, I end up not minding it because there's a lot of things that I do like about it.
Okay.
It's still, like, her panties are basically out, and you can see them. Sometimes it looks more like shorts, but really it's just undies. But I do like her. She is cool. Wait, have you ever seen like a full turnaround of her fiend? What do you think of her design?
I mean, it's very horny. It almost felt a bit generic to me in terms of like some sort of knockoff, horny anime game. And she just is the waifu who's running around in a in silly
but
outfit.
She's got a flower in her eye, and she's got a bitchin' cape, and I like her.
The flower in her eye, is there an explanation for that?
Oh yeah, no, that's actually very important. But you'll notice in the first cutscene she doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh shit, when does that start being a thing?
Now, is she one of the intoners?
Yes, she is an intoner.
Yeah, because I remember the guards who she was killing yelling something about an intoner.
Yeah.
While she was killing them. Even though we just heard that the intoners were good people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like... So, like, when that guy gets stabbed, he's like, oh, traitorous intoner, why? and then she's killing everybody. They're like, why? You're the bad intoner. And Michael shows up, her cool dragon guy friend, and it's like, sup, bleh, fire, bleh. And she poses all anime in front of him, and it's like, yeah.
So she has a dragon?
Yes, she has a big dragon friend.
Oh, okay.
Dragons are... Fiend, it's Dragon Dragoon.
of
or
course.
Drakengard. You need to have a dragon.
Oh, of course. That makes sense.
Oh, and that was another thing. So the gameplay of these games is split between, like, a kind of bad Muso game, like where you're just, like, killing a bunch of guys with different weapons on foot, and flying segments where you're on the dragon shooting things, and those are also bad. But...
So both segments are bad. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, but the dragon ones are especially, like, they can get really frustrating when it's like free flying and you're trying to like aim at things and like you fly past them and you're just like, fuck, shit, fucking, no, I'm aiming, god damn it, fuck. So it's really cool and it makes you feel really powerful.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
So you get a mission, your first mission, go to the cathedral and kill your sisters. So that's what it's time to do. So you like fight through a bunch of guys. Poo-poo-choo.
Is there any impression of who is giving you these missions to start with, or just...
Well, I mean, that's not diegetic. That's just like what Zero's doing. So the game is like, go do this thing you're doing. Go to the cathedral, kill your sisters.
Right.
And you can tell Zero's super edgy because like you hear one of the guys go, call a medic. And she's like, oh, I haven't gotten to kill a medic yet. She doesn't talk like that. She's like, fine, I haven't killed any medics yet. I don't even care. I'll kill anyone that gets in my way. I'm like that. I'm steppy.
Yeah. Okay, so this is super teen boy. This is massively teen boy.
Yeah. I do still like her though. Oh, and the thing is, like, she has like a woman voice, and everybody talks about her like a woman. I think one of the side things says that she's like fucking 17 because anime is mistakes. So she's just like Kaine from Nier. It's like, oh, look at this sexy, mature woman. She's a baby.
Yeah, I fucking hate that. Why can't you? What is it about like these fucking teen boys that they can't just be like, older women are sexy? Even like women in their mid-20s can be sexy. Why can
I
we
feel
just
like
have
it's
that?
changing slightly nowadays, but yeah. And theoretically, this game isn't even supposed to be aimed at like little boys, so I don't know why it's like, oh, don't worry, she's 17. So she fights through everybody, but Michael seems to not be doing so great. The dragon, he's like, I'll stay behind and fight this big guy, and she's like, don't you die on me, and he's like, I'm not gonna die, I'm a dragon. Blah. Don't worry about it. But we don't know. We might be a little worried about him. So she gets to her 5 sisters, and they're all lined up dramatically. And so her name's 0, and her sisters are named 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And
Love it.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so, like, she's kind of talking to each of them, and you get a kind of vibe of what their deal is. Like, one's like, you've gone insane, 0, and 2 is like, oh, hey, 0, what's up, ha, 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 I can't wait to go on vacation later, hee, hee. 3 is like, heh, 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 I'm mysterious and crazy one, heh, heh. So you need to look at these. So 1 is the one in the white thing. I kind of like her design. She has little dingly balls, and she's got a big hoop. I'm down with it. And 2 is the one that looks kind of like weird bikini top Sayaka. I don't like that.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on there?
Yeah, it's like her design almost works, but then she has a stupid bikini top for no reason. And then 3 is the one with the purple outfit, who I like the most, especially in her official art. She's got cool hair, and I like her.
Number 4 seems like she doesn't fit into this lineup quite right.
Yes, because, yeah, she's got brown and green, which is like just the traditional not magical girl fantasy kind of colors, and so she doesn't look like she really fits in with them to me.
And she's not like overly stupid horny either, like 2 or 3 or 5.
Oh, we'll have to talk more about that. Like, yeah, she's like, 0, don't do this, we're sisters. So she's like, okay, I guess she's some kind of innocent babu. And then there's the Yang one. Who's 5, who's very horny and has her titty out and has a giant cross to fight with.
When you say the Yang one, how actually like Yang are we talking?
Not personality-wise. It's just that she has the big wavy golden hair and a brown suit and is the big booby one.
Right, of course. I understand.
She's like, oh, 0, a fight like this really gets my juices flowing. So she's the super horny incesty one is what her deal is.
Oh, cool. Incest.
Yeah.
The old hotness.
Don't worry about it. So so you fight them all at once, kind of, and they're all like coming in and fighting you, and you're fighting them, and you can go in toner mode, which is a thing where you go and you glow pink, and then you're like super strong for a while. But during this fight, if you go in toner mode, they all go in toner mode. So you and then they all go, we're also and then you're all glowing. And so it's not actually very useful to go in toner whenever you're fighting them. Look at her design. Look at 5's design.
Yeah. Oh god, this is so stupid horny. It's so stupid horny and like weirdly like steampunk Catholic. I love it. It's very anime.
Yeah. Yes. So 1, the one that's named 1 summons Gabriel, who's a dragon. 0's like, that's no longer a dragon, that's a demon, whatever that means. And 1 is like, us intoners, we swore to keep the world in balance, but now you want all the power for yourself, 0. Blah! Gabriel blasts 0's arm off.
Oh, fuck.
It like comes clean off in a very funny way for the fact that, he breathed a big fire at her.
Oh, I haven't heard of weapons that target specifically arms since Violet Evergarden.
Yeah, no, it totally made me think of that.
Yeah, anti-arm grenade.
Yeah, and so 0 was like, Michael, come here and save me, my dragon! And so Michael comes in, he's like, bleh! And the gals all use their intoner powers to block, which it's funny because they say that they have the power of song, but like here they just all go, ah! And it makes like a big shield to block, and they don't ever really seem to sing usually, they just go, ah! It's beautiful.
Dude, it does seem like 0, they might be right about her at this point.
Yeah, no, 0 sure seems like the bad guy.
Yeah.
So it kind of like cuts, like somehow 0 and Michael got away maybe or something, escaped, but 1 year later. And it's like, this is a story of a land protected by 6 sisters, but one of these sisters seeks to bring about the world's ruin, which is narration by a particular character in the game who knows that's not true. So that's one of the times when the game is just straight up lying to us, and it's bullshit.
Okay, so now we're getting into the Ruby energy, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, I don't want you to figure out what's actually happening yet, so I'm just going to fucking lie to you in the narration.
Yeah, this character wants to become the Dark Queen.
Yeah. So Zero spends the year hanging out in a little cottage in the Land of Seas, and she has a robo arm now, which apparently is like a whole thing with like a parasite in it, but you never see that in the game. It's just in the concept art. Blah, blah, blah. So here's the thing. In that whole sequence, she didn't have a visible flower, but now she does a year later. And you might think, okay, so she didn't have the flower before and she does now, and that's not true. She always had the flower. It just, I guess, hadn't yet popped out of her eye.
Okay.
So it was like in there or no, wait. God damn it, that doesn't make any sense either. Fuck. Shit. It definitely had popped out of her eye already before. So it was like in remission during that scene.
What is the flower though? Like, what's the significance of the flower?
That's a very like end game kind of thing.
Okay, but the idea would be that it should have been out in the opening scene?
I think so, because of something that you'll learn later, but she's definitely had the flower for all the stuff that we've seen in the game. It's been around vaguely.
Okay, all right, interesting.
So we hear baby sounds of a baby rolling around having fun out in the water, and Zero comes out of the cabin, and it's a big dragon. It's a big gray dragon that just looks like a fucking dragon, but he has like a little baby voice. His name's Mikhail, and he's like, hey, baby, I'm a baby. Oh yeah, look at him. I do like this. Someone posted when he's just sitting on his like a little guy. He's flipping his feet.
That's kind of cute.
So here's the thing. Yoko Taro has a lot of types that he likes to put in every game. So you have like the white hair steppy girl, very important. And you also have to have a very innocent boy child. And in this case, the very innocent boy child happens to be a big dragon in this game.
Okay. I'm down with that, in theory.
Yeah. So he's like her son that she's all tsundere about.
Of course.
Is the gist.
God damn, this really is just like Nier Automata, the relationship there too as well, isn't it?
Nah, because he's not quite... If you were like trying to compare it to Nier Automata, 9S's character is split between this guy and another guy. So he's really mixing it up.
Oh, okay.
So Zero's like, how many times have I told you not to roll around in the fucking mud? And it scares Mikhail, and he pees on screen for an extended period of time.
Cool.
You're just like watching him, and it even does the thing where it stops, and then he's like, a little more pee.
Right. That's cool.
Pee is very important. And he runs off all like, I'm sorry.
He's so juvenile. So
no, this is a game for mature gamers. Only mature gamers can access, haha, the dragon peed.
It makes you think.
Yeah, think deeply. So you come to understand that Michael died, kind of, in that earlier encounter and was reborn as Mikhail somehow.
Okay.
So this baby boy's only a year old. He's just a baby. Right. And Mikhail's like, why do you want us to kill your sisters anyway? Shouldn't we, like, try to talk it out? And Zero's like, no, I'm not gonna. And then you run into... So there's a character called Accord, who's very important. She's mentioned in the Niers, because she's like this mysterious world-traveling being of some sort. But the way that she's first mentioned in this game is you come across like a random store stall, like merchant stall, and it says like, I'll be right back, but I'm not here for now, Accord. And I don't know why she would be running a fucking weapon merchant store, because that's not supposed to be her deal.
It's like they were going to have Anna from Fire Emblem and then just like, never mind.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It is weird. Here, wait, no, yeah, I guess we can go ahead and talk about what Accord looks like. So you can see she's this like steppy librarian looking thing, but she has a normal like, hey, I'm just a normal girl kind of voice, but kind of serious.
Okay. But yeah, it's very steppy. That's a steppy outfit.
Yeah, she has a very steppy outfit. So you're just like fighting your way, and we're fighting our way to go fight Five, who's like the controller of the Land of Seas.
Okay.
And so we're fighting the girls in reverse number order, so we got to kill Five first, and her weird horniness.
Okay. I have to ask this because it's Yoko Taro and the plots are weird. Are we going to find out why she's doing this?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. I just want to know how frustrated to be.
And it's cool, except that, again, it means that, like, a lot of this won't actually make sense. Some of it will make sense in a cool way. Others of it won't make sense.
Okay, cool. So it was a cool idea, poorly executed.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it's a Yoko Taro game. Okay, cool.
So, something funny about this game is, so you get a lot of random soldier dialogue that's, like, humorous or whatever from the mooks, and they'll say, like, it's just a flesh wound, and other stuff, and have, like, little dialogue about being scared or whatever. But because of the way that the sound is mixed, it just sounds like you're all on voice chat together sometimes, and it just ends up being kind of confusing and funny. And one of them's like, an eye socket's no place to be growing flowers.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
Yeah. No, yeah, some of the soldier dialogue is legitimately funny. But we fight, and we eventually get to 5. And 5 is there, and she's there with a guy that looks like a little baby boy, but apparently he's like 20-something, and he's actually like a grown man, but he just looks like a little baby boy. So I thought he was maybe going to be an innocent boy child, but he's not. He's a super sadist guy.
When you say he looks like a little baby boy,
he looks like almost like a young shonen protagonist kind of guy.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't...
He looks even younger as a model than he does in this official art. Look at his baby face.
Yeah, that looks like a Final Fantasy protagonist.
Yeah, he's a little baby boy. But then when you get him in your party, it's like he's a super sadistic, mature man, and it's like, what?
What? No. I don't like that.
No, he's not. So you see 5 with him next to her, and she's like, oh, hey, Zero, blah, 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 I'm 5. And she's like, sexy, blah. And Zero's like, I'm just gonna fucking kill you, whatever. There is like some amusingness in the fact that Zero is just like fucking whatever, and 5's like, oh, sexual, and Zero's like, oh, fuck it, I don't care, I just don't care.
Good on Yoko Taro for not leaning into incest. That's a good job. I'm glad.
Well, look, it wouldn't technically be incest anyways, kind of. You'll see. Whenever the Intoner girls are gonna summon their big boss monster, they go, ah, and then their disciple boy guy says like, in the name of me, I summon thee, blah, 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 the 5th song, wah, 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 wah. And it is kind of hype, because it's it's like basically like a hype man job. But but for some reason, the boy that, like, they all have a boy, and the boy with them is the one that summons the monster. And then you'll hear, like, this music going, like, rap, 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 and it is pretty hype.
Did you like the music in it? Like, was the music...
Yes.
Okay, so the music in general is pretty good.
Yeah, the music is by the same guy as both of the Nier games and Yuki Yuna. Yeah, he's fucking great. He did a great job. all the boss music is hype as hell.
I was gonna say, the music was maybe the only good thing about Yuki Yuna.
I did keep thinking about Yuki Yuna because the gauge is a flower for you going in toner mode, and you go like super pink and petally when you go in toner mode.
Yes. Yeah, okay, I remember.
And there were other concept versions of her design where there was like more pink involved in it, and so I kept thinking about it.
Did she lose her eye because she went mankai? Was that what happened?
Look, I thought about that. I considered it. So anyways, they summon a big crab.
Okay, all right, cool. Crabs. Yep. PS3, the PS3's main feature as enemies.
It's true.
Giant crabs. Yeah.
Yeah, she summons a giant enemy crab.
Yeah.
And they later refer to all these like summons they do as angels, which makes it very fun. It's like, I will summon my angel, big crab. The mission text as you go into the fight, you're on Mikhail, you're going to do a dragon fight against this crab, and it says, defeat this tacky SOB.
Okay.
Which I enjoyed.
That's a bit better.
Oh, just you fucking wait.
Oh no.
And there's some amazing dialogue during the fight where 5 is like, oh, Zero, you're even sexier with that flower in your eye, blah, blah, blah. And then at one point she just goes, my best feature is my breasts. Which I did blurt out laughing because it's just such a funny thing to say.
It's a very silly line.
My best feature is my breasts.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm so glad you came. Truth be told, I almost came as well.
Oh, come on.
And Zero says, that's nice.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
Which again, is just like, I wish you weren't saying that, but it is very funny to have Zero just be like, this dialogue's stupid. And then once you finally defeat the crab, there's cutscenes, Zero's going and stabbing 5, and 5's like, bleh, blood everywhere. And then it cuts away to like almost like an error message that you would get on TV where little Taiko no Tatsujin artist lady versions of them are in a field, and it says that it's been censored for audiences or whatever. Please stand by.
Okay. So very meta.
Yeah.
That's funny because the game has been gory and stupid up to this point anyway. So why would like?
It's just for shits. It's just the game is trolling. It's just a troll game.
Sure.
But 5 isn't actually dead after that. She's like, did you really think that it would kill it until I bleh? And then Dito, her boy child that's actually a man, comes and splits her in half from behind. And then he's like kicking her body and cussing and stuff, and it censors the audio. And it's like, this audio has been censored for mature language, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, God. Okay.
And then he like puts his finger to his chin and is like, what was her name again? I forget. And I think he's just being sarcastic, but later something happens where you think that maybe he literally forgot her name, but I don't think so. I think those are two unrelated forgetting of who they are names things. So I think he was just being sassy.
I like the idea that Yoko Taro put that in as a joke, and then later he was like, but what if I explored that in the same game?
I can see it. But more importantly than anything, he gives you a spear, and now you have a spear.
Okay.
So there's like 4 different weapon types once you unlock them all, and you can like switch between them, which almost makes things fun, because when you switch weapons, you go into this like slow mode where the 4 weapons are circling around you when you see them, and that almost could have been fun. But it just plays so clunky. And the spear you end up having to switch to because there'll be guys with shields that you can't do shit against unless you use a specific attack with the spear. So you're just like, I have to do this real quick. Oh, and also everything in this game staggers you. Every hit staggers you. Like little arrows stagger you. It sucks. It sucks to play.
It's one of those features you like. You can put it in your game, but you need to understand that it's very annoying to just constantly be staggered and not be able to do stuff.
Yeah.
Game developers don't always understand that it's not a fun feature. It's like weapon durability.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I've only ever seen that done well once.
Look, I can kind of enjoy weapon durability as like a micromanaging kind of thing. Yeah. But staggering, nah. You now get a new place in your menu for your disciples, and here you can basically choose your party members. And no matter who's in your party, all of them will be talking, which is too bad because at first I was like, oh, maybe I can put this guy out of my party so he'll stop talking. But no, they'll keep talking even if they're not on screen with you, unfortunately. And yeah, the menu calls him a mature, perceptive man.
I just the idea that they're here and they could help you fight, but for some reason there's a 4-person limit, so they're just going to sit in the back and talk shit. I guess
they're just off screen.
Yeah, they're just doing reaction videos in the background.
And so his whole thing is that he's super sadistic and he just likes to shit on people. So he'll just be like, "Oh, look at all the blood! Woo, I love it! Wah!" And it's just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's boring.
Yeah. But they're like, let's go to the next one, to the land of mountains where 4 lives. Wee. Oh, so you're fighting a Cerberus during some of this, and it's a big 3-headed dog. You end up fighting several versions of it because they reuse assets a lot.
Sure.
And the first time you beat him, I think maybe like 1 or 2 of his heads are splurting blood, and he just suddenly neumes backwards off the cliff and goes down in a way that like his model doesn't move at all, like animate at all. It just goes backwards really fast. And that's him retreating. But I was so confused for a while as to like, did he just retreat? Did he die? What the fuck just happened? It's a cheap game.
I was going to say, yeah, because that sounds like a glitch almost.
No, I think they just like couldn't figure out a good animation for it.
That's pretty funny.
So like when he comes back for revenge, at one point he bites Zero's arm off.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, oh shit. But then she's like, time to heal up. And she births herself from her eye flower and comes out of the eye flower as a reborn naked Zero covered in blood with her own eye flower.
Okay. What happens to the old body?
I guess it despawns.
Okay. So this is part of the purpose of the flower.
Yeah.
Is to be reborn out of a flower. Okay.
Yeah, so she's like functionally immortal, except you have to wonder, you're like, wait, but the other time she lost her arm and she wasn't able to replace it this way. She has a robot arm there. But this time she was able to regrow her arm. What the difference? That part is actually explained. I'm very proud.
Okay, cool.
But when Mikhail is like, well, why don't you just regrow your other arm? She's like, adult reasons, which is not the thing I don't...
Adult reasons?
It's not. I was like, is it a sexual reason? But no, it's not. She's just fucking with him or something.
Okay, sure. All right. Okay.
4 lives in the land of mountains, so everything's snow and stuff, and you're fighting through mountains. And I do like that there's a piece of dialogue where Dito's like, hey, you want to have sex tonight, basically? And I was like, oh god, he's like really good at hitting on her. And she's like, if I feel like it. Which I liked that kind of non-committal casual response. I didn't expect it.
Just maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but here's the thing with 4. You said that she doesn't look sexy and stuff. The thing is that she's a virgin, and that's not okay. And they have to keep shitting on her for being a virgin.
Okay.
And not
That
wanting
sucks.
to have a sex. Yeah.
It's funny because I actually kind of like her design. I don't think it fits this game, but it's kind of cute. I don't know.
No, yeah, she seems kind of nice and cute. Like, she seems like the most normal sister at first. And she's voiced by the lady that voices Homura in the English dub and stuff. So a lot of people were like, oh, fuck, it's Homura.
Hang on, she seems like the most normal at first.
I guess she is kinda, but it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Anyways, so what's important is that she's a virgin. That's not okay. You can't trust her.
Virgins are untrustworthy.
A virgin in toner, fiend. She says it like that at one point. She's like, a virgin in toner, think about it. And it's like, even by the end of the game, I actually don't know why that's important, because everything to do with the boys and how they are incorporated is very poorly laid out, and it really feels like they just exist so she has someone to talk to and be party members, but
Right.
everything about them doesn't really make much sense. But apparently it's very important to have sex with them, and I thought it was very funny because like 5 she kept shitting on for being too horny, and then 4 she shits on for not being horny enough. You got to be just right amount of horny.
It's the world's most awful Goldilocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're climbing the mountain. Why are they on the mountain? But
I mean, if you said they were going to fuck the mountain, that wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, yeah. To make love to the mountain.
Yeah.
So but they're having trouble finding 4, but Mikhail can sense her, and he has like, it gives him a really good feeling to sense her. So it's like, oh, what's up with that, Mikhail? Rah, rah, rah. And they keep climbing, and then they lose track of Mikhail. They can't find him. Oh no.
no.
And then he just shows up later. He's fine. But but zero,
I love that idea. That's also very Ruby.
yeah.
Just you think someone's in trouble and it's like, no, they're fine. Don't worry.
I think it's just to give her first chance to kind of like show that she does care about him, because she's like, I want my dragon. Where's my dragon? And so I was like, oh, you'd tsundere care about him.
Is it cute? Is their relationship cute?
I find it cute. It goes very hard on the Tsun end of things for like a really long time. But I like Zero a lot by the end, even though she's like super stupid, edgy conception of a character. But I like her. So her love of her son is like, it's actually the most important relationship of the game, is her relationship with her dragon son.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So Zero's yelling, and she's like, I want my dragon. And Dito's like, hey, you should be careful about yelling too loud. There'll be, there could cause an avalanche. And she's like, but I don't care. It's not going to cause an avalanche. And then there's an avalanche. And it says Drakengard 3, the end.
That's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny. Oh, yeah. And then Mikhail gets back, and he says he was lost in the snow and found another dragon. And that might be something that we see later, but it's not really important. So it's just a weird thing for him to mention.
Okay.
Because dragons are supposed to be like almost kind of extinct. It's really hard to find them, supposedly.
Right, but he might have seen one and then it just doesn't come up again.
Not really. It does in like another branch. Someone does have a dragon. It's like, I guess maybe that's that dragon. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. Who cares?
Okay.
So you're continuing along. Zero's all grumpy. And then you get to the first part where you really have to do like precision jumping platforming. And Zero says, I'm not a fan of all this stupid precision jumping, because the game, whenever it has really bad gameplay, instead of trying to make the gameplay better, they just have the characters complain about how the gameplay is bad. It's very funny.
Yeah, they're just lampshading it as opposed to, maybe making a game fun.
So good.
How often does this happen where you come up against a new game mechanic and it fucking sucks?
Not a whole lot. Later on, it's mostly like you're doing tedious things, and Zero is complaining about how tedious the things you're doing are, and it's like, yep, they really are tedious things you're making me do, game. I'm glad you know.
Yeah, that doesn't make it better. Like it just means that you knew this going in and you didn't fix it.
Yeah, it's awful. But they arrive at Four's airship. She has an airship, and she's there with her boy, Decadus.
This really does, in some ways, also feel like a really edgy Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it has a lot of the same kind of like fantasy tropes. So Decadus, to me, he looks kind of like Alexander Anderson from Helsing. He's like a kind of big beefy guy with blonde hair and little glasses.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
His thing is he's super masochistic in like a fucking absurd way.
Okay, fun.
Like everything does it for him. It'll be like, oh man, a mosquito bit me, and then he'll be like, oh, a mosquito bit you? Oh, such horribleness.
Oh, come on. This is so teen boy.
He's so easy. But
It's just so it's so stupid. Like,
it's very stupid.
The real teen boy thing of just like, you just found out about sex, and then you found out about sometimes sex is weird, and then you're just going to put that in your thing all the time.
Some guys like to have a steppy.
Yeah, I think it's so funny. It's so funny. Look at him. He's got a boner.
Yep. That's Decadus. But like, it's funny because he's that role, and then he's also like the reasonable guy of the group. So he has to kind of vacillate between those two.
Okay, so yeah, he's a land of contrasts. Okay.
And so we're looking up at 4. We're like, we're here to kill you. And she's like, but I always admired you, Zero. Why are you doing this? You can't. You can't. Ah! The 4th song, impenetrable shield, arm rails. Her angel thing is a fortress. It's just like a giant sky fortress thing.
Okay, cool.
And you have like a techno battle.
Cool.
On the dragon. Wait, I lost my place in my important notes, my beautiful notes. Here's the next note. 0 implies that she has a stinky vagina, and 4 cries about it.
Cool.
Because 0's like, are you really saving yourself? Or do you just like stank down there? And she's like, how could you say that? No. Which I found very funny, just that she's that easy to upset.
I guess it implies that her vagina probably is a bit smelly. I don't know. Like,
I know, like it hit too close to home. I'm talking about my stinky vagina.
But this is again also so juvenile.
Well, yeah, stinky down there might be stinky. But anyways, 4 has memories of 0 saving her from bullies and is like trying to remind 0 over voice chat while they're fighting.
Right.
And 0's like, I don't remember that at all. And it's like, does she really not remember? Is she just being sun about it? We don't know. And eventually, like, 0 makes her way to the ship and lands on it. And 4 is just like, please, 0, you have to remember. Please, be reasonable. And 0 suddenly, like, closes her eyes and opens them up again and is like, where am I? Oh, where am I? Oh, my sister. Oh, what's happening, my sister? And 4's like, thank goodness, 0. And she comes in for the hug, and 0's like, oh, 4, this is so good. Where's the rest of our sisters? And 4 is like, oh, well, 3's in the land of trees, flaws in the land. And then 0 stabs her, and she's like, you honestly thought I'd have a split personality? Boop. And it's pretty funny.
I mean, yeah. Is it at all interesting that you were playing as 0 and 0 really does seem like the villain at this point?
It's more just like, that there's gonna be more like revealed about it. It can't just be that you're killing everyone. And it's also funny because like, this is a silly trash game, so you're like, oh my god, does she really have a split personality? Does she really? And then when it's not true, you're like, yeah.
It's a legit possibility that they're going to do something stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also like the idea that she's managed to defeat one of her sisters by saying, oh, you fell for an anime trope. Like, you thought that was going to... Yeah.
And Decadus is like holding his dick almost like, or he's almost like standing like a little kid that needs to pee. And he's like, please kill me as well. And she's like, no, I take the disciples and I kill the girls. And she says, clean up front and rear, which is like, okay, I guess pegging's on the table or something.
Oh, God.
And Mikhail is evolving suddenly because, like, it seems like he's somehow evolving with her killing her sisters. It's mysterious.
He's a Pokemon.
He's digivolving.
He's a Pokemon who evolves with sister death.
Yeah, it's a very specific evolution condition. So now we have an airship, and everyone's Zero is actually, you can tell she's kind of excited to have an airship now.
That's kind of cute.
And so she's like pointing her sword forward dramatically towards the sky, and she's like, to 3 in the land of forests, with the boys standing behind her. And it's like, wow, what a fun party. We got her and her weird dragon and masochist man and sadist man. We're off on an adventure. Yay!
I like the name of these places, Land of Forests. I was like, wow.
I know, it's the most generic.
You really earned your lunch that day.
There is part of this land of mountains where they're like, oh, this mountain is the something of the Weiss Norden. Oh, Mount Bernstein of the Weiss Norden. And they keep acting like it's almost impossible to say or remember it. And I think it probably works better in Japanese, you know?
Yeah.
Because they'll be keeping like Mount whatever. I can't possibly. And it's like, it's not that hard to say. But it was funny because they say Bernstein and it's like, no, it's Bernstein. It's Mandela effect.
It's one of those things where it's like the translators just should have put more of an effort in to come up with something else other than the joke that doesn't work anymore.
No, you got to stay true to this beautiful source material.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So before every mission, you have these little segments where you're like around a camp and you can kind of walk around and talk to the guys. And normally I would just try to figure out which guy I had to talk to continue the story so I wouldn't have to talk to the other guys. And this time you're on the airship doing it and it's like, hey, there's this area we can't open up. I'm sure we'll find a key somehow later, you know, like as a stupid RPG thing.
This lamp shading would just frustrate the shit out of me because it doesn't...
It's a lot.
It's not funny. It's not clever. You're just like, yes, we're in a game. I know we're in a game. We all know we're in a game.
It does make it feel like he's almost kind of like bored with the concept of video games already. Because it has nothing to do with the story or anything. It's just an extra thing. Like, isn't it? It's a video game?
Which is great because that's what I want to know when I'm playing a video game is that the guy who made it was bored while he was making it. That's cool.
Yeah, it's excellent. I do like when Zero talks to Decadus during this part. She's like, what's that on your arm? And he's like, oh, it's a martial arts weapon, blah, blah. And she says, gimme. And so now you have the fist weapons.
Okay, cool. So she's just nicking people's weapons.
Yeah. But she says, it's time to set sail and conquer the world, which is funny because, like, obviously you're not conquering the world. That's not even a thing you're doing.
Hang on, so she doesn't want to become the Dark Queen?
No, she doesn't. But okay. She's pretending just for this scene that she wants to conquer the world. Explosion! Their ship blows up. You don't get to have an airship for the rest of it. It's like, it was all just like a joke.
That's kind of funny.
It is very funny because then it cuts to a cutscene of a bunch of rando soldiers that had successfully shot that cannon or whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, we did it! We killed the false detonator! Ha ha!" And then Zero comes in with a flying kick from off screen and is like, "You fucking broke my airship! I was so excited to have an airship!"
That's funny. Okay, occasionally the fourth wall breaking is funny. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think this is like one of my favorite aspects of it, just because, yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, of course we have an airship now, we can get around. Oh no, I didn't expect that. Oh boy.
You know what it is, Cube? You know what this game is?
What?
It's a deconstruction.
It sure is. It's really deconstructing the concept of shut up. So yeah, you have claw weapons now. They're pretty fun to fight with, relatively, and you're fighting your way through the forests.
Relatively, because this game is crap.
Yeah. And you're fighting your way through the forest, and then you have to run into asshole fairies every once in a while, and fairies in this world are just like complete jackasses. Mm-hmm. And Zero squishes one of them, and it's pretty satisfying. But they'll be like, oh, look at you fat ugly slut. Well, I'm a fairy. Isn't it so funny that I'm a fairy, but I'm talking like this? And then she squish. That's cool.
It does feel like it's one of those things where she squishes them and it's satisfying, but, you know, you still put that dickhead in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, you did this. You did this, Yokotaro. Oh, and she's looking for Mikhail because she doesn't know where Mikhail is yet. And one of the fairies is like, the stupid dragon is in a stupid nest. I saw him as stupid. And Zero's like, stupid, like you. And the fairy's like, yeah, wait. You go to hell, lady. You go to hell and you die. It's a fucking South Park reference in this video game.
Oh, God.
They put a fucking South Park reference in this video game.
When did this game come out?
2013. So I guess it would have been the time.
No, but that particular line is ancient by that. Oh,
no,
God,
I would have been 13 then. No, wait, I would have been 23 then.
Yeah, you've added 10 years.
Look, everyone was born in 2000. I guess that would have been old by then, but someone remembered it and they just had to do it.
Wait, but that wasn't A translator joke?
It has to be a translator joke. No, yeah. That's what I'm assuming it is. I'm sure the fairy was like, fuck you, the equivalent in Japanese.
Yeah.
But they're like, what if we had it be a South Park?
It always seems like translators come from a particular set of like internet nerds. Sometimes
I'm sure
we had the same problem in fucking Sailor Moon, where they were referencing the internet being a series of tubes and shit. Like,
yeah,
every translator was hanging out on YTMND in 2007.
Memes.
Yeah.
They're like, how can we find 3? And it's like, maybe we could go see the Fairy King. Maybe he'll know where 3 is. They're like, do we really want to go see another fairy? Guess we have to. And and so they get to the Fairy King, and I do like the Fairy King's voice because he sounds like, I just imagine the guy in the booth because he's like, I am the King of Fairies. No, I don't want to talk to you. You will probably kill me.
Seems fair.
Yeah, and she's like, I promise not to kill you if you tell me where 3 is. And he's like, well, okay, she's in the forest shrine, and then she kills him.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's fair enough.
It's just like, I don't like you. Fine with you dying.
Yeah, and by this point, Zero is already starting to get sick of the forest. She's sick of this level, which is too bad because there's a lot of this whole area to go before you get to the next boss.
Cool. Are you sick of the forest level at this point?
Not quite. Not yet.
Okay, but you will get sick of it.
Yeah. So then Octa shows up, who's the disciple of 3. I like his design because he's got the 2 big chakram. He's a short old man guy with giant ass gaita.
Okay.
And he shows up and he's like, if only you knew the surprise I've got in store for you, raising his chakrams. And then he just drops them and he surrenders. And he says he wants to join our party.
Okay. Just real quick, how is he a pain in the ass dickhead?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
But the thing is that there's like a very long pause after he says that, like a beat, but it's like a really, really long beat. And it like goes on way too long. And it's like, at first it's like, it's fun. It's kind of funny that's going on so long. And it's like, it's still going. Oh God, it's still going. We're still just standing here. Yeah, Dito sneezes. It sucks. But yeah, so he joins us and we have Chakram now. So you go to read his profile when you're selecting your disciples, and it lets you know that he has the biggest dick of all of the boys. It's important to know. So he's just a very horny guy with a big dick.
Okay, so this game really is haha my dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, once you really get into the meat of things later, I suspected that it would kind of calm down, and it does, like, somewhat. Like, the horniness stuff still comes up, but it isn't, like, just constant, the only thing anyone's ever talking about later, once there's, like, actually other somewhat interesting things to talk about.
Okay, well, that's nice. That's nice they put their dicks away for a while.
Yeah. So he's in her party now, and he just likes to always talk about being horny and having sex and how he's had all these sexual escapades. And sometimes it's kind of funny because he uses like really bad old man euphemisms. So he'll like talk about his trouser trout, or he mentions Three's love pantry.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
And it's like, okay, that is kind of funny.
But that's so teenage too, to walk around talking about all the sex you've had. Like, that's as a teenage boy to think. He's like, oh, totally.
Well, I think he's just like a super extreme version of that like horny old man anime character, you know?
Okay.
So during this part of the forest that we're going through, we have to solve cube puzzles by hitting floating cubes with chakram while they're like opening. And you do the first one and it's super easy, and Zero says, why the hell did I get experience for that? Because it had like 30 experience.
Okay. Flame shading.
Hey. And at some point, Three starts talking over voice chat, speaking in riddles and doing poems and stuff. So she's all weird and riddly and mysterious or whatever.
Is there any bullet hell in this?
No, that was just an automata thing.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I associate him with bullet hell, but there just must be automata.
Yeah, because you could not do that in this because your movement is so bad.
Oh yeah, of course. I wonder if they did put it in. Just like, no, this is impossible.
Yeah. Oh, here, someone posted her design. I love her design.
Yeah, I mean, in an over the top edgy way, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Her bottom half and her weapons kind of give me Black Rock Shooter vibes a little bit.
Yeah, she could almost be like hanging out in that universe.
Yeah.
With the, like black and one color accent and stuff. You're getting through that, and you go through one of the gates, and Mikhail poops, and he's just taking a big old poop behind the gate, and they walk away, but then Octa has to smell it and go, whoo!
Cool.
He pooped. Ha ha ha. He pooped.
God damn it.
And now we get to the next part of the forest, because there's so many fucking parts of it. And this one is like a riff on Zelda, kind of, because it's called The Lost Forest. And there's this like spooky doll puzzle you have to solve. And every time you solve a part of it, it goes bloop, 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 bling.
All right, so yeah, the parodying. Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Does that go anywhere?
Did you just ask if it went anywhere?
Sorry.
Did I mishear you?
That's a silly question. That's a silly question, isn't it?
Yeah, it goes to the next part of the game. So I do like that the spooky dolls they look pretty cool. They're like these big ball jointed dolls that look like babies, and they're terrifying. But then Mikhail is looking at himself in the river, and he's like, who's that dragon down there? And she's like, it's your reflection, dumbass. And then he falls into the river and gets swept away by Mikhail.
So we just hang on. Is he actually gone, or are we just?
He's gone for now.
Okay. This seems to happen a lot. That there's times when like,
Yeah.
Is it one of those things where this is times when Mikhail will be useful, but we just can't have him?
Yeah, I guess so. And then we fight a big wooden centaur thing, where one aspect of it is there's like a floppy naked lady sticking out of his chest.
Cool.
So that's just a thing that's happening.
Cool. Yeah.
And then we get to the big tree that Lady 3 lives in. And if you've played Nier, there's a big tree it's the same. It's like he only has like 5 different locations he can put in any of these games. So it's a big tree with a wooden platform going up the edge of it, just like the one in Nier.
Okay. Cool.
Just like the fucking one in Nier. And 3's you like, ooh. I'm like, oh shit, she's tired. I already liked her. And she's kind of slouch walking, and she's like, oh, Octa, why are you with them? Or no, she doesn't do that. She's like, why are you with them? And Octa's like, earlier he made it clear that 3 just like wasn't having enough sex with him or something like that. You know, like she wasn't sating his horniness.
Right.
But here he's like, I was morally compelled to join these guys because of your horrible experiments you've been doing and stuff. And 3's like, it's just because you were too horny, right? And he's like, no.
Is she doing horrible experiments?
I guess, yeah. She also does evil human experiments off screen, whatever.
Okay, is this the first intoner we've met that is actually doing a shit thing?
5, there's very uncomfortable dialogue from Dido that makes it clear that 5 was basically like a sexual assailant, but in a way that they don't take seriously because she's a booby anime woman.
All right. Okay. But so, I mean, is that like? I guess does the game know that's bad?
Yeah, she's supposed to be like bad, and she's all incest and stuff. Whatever. Okay. So she does suck in universe, and 4 doesn't seem to. So 3 forces Octa to go ahead and summon her guy Armissile, and it's a bunch of exploding dolls. Is her angel summon thing.
Okay.
So we fight all them, and then there's a big one, and we gotta fight it. And the end cutscene after that fight is like just the giant doll head slams into 3 and smooshes her under it.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. No, yeah, and like her legs go akimbo, and it's very funny looking.
You know what's funny? The experience of this is like, it's kind of like the juvenility is meant to be funny, and sometimes it actually is.
Yeah.
Almost like you slip into like, yeah, this is really stupid.
Yeah.
but a lot of the time you're also going, oh, this is stupid.
Yeah, no, it definitely is like vacillating between those two moods constantly.
Yeah. Even listening to you tell me about it, I find myself vacillating.
Yeah. But 3 comes and she's like, you didn't really think that'd kill me, did you? And then Mikhail eats her.
Oh.
He just noms her real quick from above screen. He just comes in and and she's eaten now.
So hang on, this is him popping up again. Like he wasn't here before?
They'd found him here, like tied up or something, and had rescued him, and you fight the dolls on him.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so now he eats her. It's like, what?
Is this like, is this one of those parts where you're sort of flying around and he's annoying to control, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was, of course. No, all of these boss fights have been flying around on him, and it's annoying. But he eats her, and then he kind of like I guess, passes out from just having a good big, he's tuckered after his big meal. Yum, yum, yum.
Sure.
And then the disciple of two shows up, who's a guy named Sent, who looks like the most fucking Final Fantasy ass anime boy. Look at this boy.
Jesus, yeah. This is a Final Fantasy boy.
He's so Final Fantasy, and he shows up, and during this whole scene, he says nothing sexual, and I was like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing? How did you make it into this game? Who are you?"
Okay. So when does he get his dick out?
You know what? He doesn't.
Oh.
He fucking doesn't.
Wow.
It's amazing. and I have a feeling I know why, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
So he shows up and he has these two big, like, water beings that look like guys in armor, and he picks Mikhail up, and he's gonna just leave with Mikhail, and he does, and we're like, no!
They don't try to stop him?
It's like one of those things where it's like, because it's a cutscene, like it'll be a shot of him and then a shot of them, and then they're like, no.
Okay.
And I guess they couldn't do much to like reach him on his giant guys without Mikhail.
Right. Okay.
They're just little peoples.
Okay. Sure.
But it's cute because he leaves by the two water boys hold hands and then rocket feet away.
That's kind of funny. The thing that occurs to me so far is that we're like up to... We've killed 3 of the Intona sisters, and we're up to the last 2. And I don't feel like there's been a lot revealed about the plot so far.
Yeah, this is one of those Yoko Taro games where the first ending is just like, nobody's pretending this is the end of the game. Like, right. you got to the end of a route, and just keep playing.
Okay.
So there's a lot you don't learn in the first one. In fact, I think today we'll probably have to end with the end of the first route, and so maybe this could be like a 2-parter podcast.
Okay.
So he's taking Mikhail. We have to go after him to the desert. This is all desert area. We have to fight dogs in the desert exactly like you do in Nier, but Yoko Taro, you're hack. So... Or reusing assets.
Okay, hang on. Sarah just mentioned don't make me hit dogs. Are the dogs cute?
I mean, they just look like, like wolfy dog guys. And when you hit them, they go... Meow.
See, I hate that. I hate when animals can be killed and they make like a regular cute animal noise. I don't want that. Like, because that's the thing in Genshin too. There are these cute boars. And like sometimes they run at you and they hit you a little bit and do a tiny bit of damage and then they run off, or they just run away. But very occasionally you kill them accidentally when you're fighting something else, and they squeal and they roll over and die. And I just know.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
But Yoko Taro knows that it's painful to kill dogs. He has multiple things that are about the sadness of killing dogs in Nier. He's an asshole.
Okay. Cool. Thanks. Yeah, cool.
So the random dialogue that the soldiers are saying while you're fighting them kind of lets you know that 2 is sick somehow. There's like something wrong with her and they're all worried about her. And earlier Sent had kind of implied that he was scared of her, how she is now, but in a very funny way, because Sent's his deal is that he's like a dumbass. And he likes to like think he's very smart and make up trivia, which is why, like, what are you doing here? How is that your character thing? How is your thing not what?
Where is your dick?
Yeah, he's like, Lady 2 wanted this, so I better do it. Not that I'm scared of her or anything.
Right, okay.
So you reach Mikhail, and he's like pinned down in this like big open area, and summons 2 golems to attack you, and you fight the golems, and then you can just have Mikhail, and you freed Mikhail, and nothing else came of him being captured, and I was really mad.
This is the second time Mikhail's been captured. Like,
yeah, it keeps happening.
He didn't seem that tough.
Nah. Sent is all mad at us, and he makes like this dramatic like angry face before he leaves, but you're like looking up his nostrils, so it looks very funny in a way that's hard to tell how intentional it is. But then I'm pretty sure it's intentional, because when you go to the next, like, between every mission you see a map, and sometimes there's like photos of things that get attached to the map, and here it's that photo of you looking up his nostrils, and it's just like attached to the map like a little Polaroid, and it looks very funny.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. So they're fighting their way through the desert base. Zero's arm gets cut off again, but this time she's able to just kind of stick it back on in a way that made me think of the Claymore series. And it's just kind of like, but then it works fine. So that's cool.
Okay, cool,
but
cool.
You can tell she's kind of like, this body, it's so inhuman. Blah. And then there's part where this is horrible, Fiend. It's horrible. You're running across a desert, and the sun is like super powered, so it's hurting you constantly as long as you're in the light, and you have to get in the shadows of objects to like get away from it. But because, I mean, this isn't a very well designed game or whatever, there's like all these places with little shadows that it seems like you can stand in, but then you can't. Or places where it seems like you're not going to be able to stand in the shadow, but you can, and it does count. And it's so frustrating, and it sucks. And I ended up having to do like a lot of it all over again because I died, and it fucking sucks.
Like I said, I didn't see all of the stream, but like I do remember the stupid 5 giant white lady rhythm game fight towards the end.
Don't fucking talk about that already.
No, but I just mean that it's one of those things where it makes you play a whole bunch of it, and then it gets to something stupid at the end. It's like, okay, now I got to start all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that, and this is another bad video game design thing. Just making you do a tedious thing all over again from the start. It's fucking annoying.
Yeah. So we get to 2 and Scent, and 2 is all like weird and catatonic kind of. And at first it seems Scent talks in a way where it seems like he's being rapey because he's like talking about having had sex with her, and she seems all catatonic, and it seems really creepy. I don't think it was intentional because the rest of the game, it seems like their characterization is that they're actually legitimately in love and stuff, and that he like really like cares about her, and it's just a very weird scene. So I was like, oh, we're getting to the weird sex thing about you, and you're actually the worst. But I think it was an accident.
They made him accidentally rapey.
Oop.
Yoko Taro is such a genius. Like, it's all coming together.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You know, in this amazing way.
And then he's like, okay, to open up and say, ah. And she goes, ah. And I summoned my name, Meg Grigori, those 2 big water boys. That fight sucks. It sucks.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Why does it suck?
You're fighting them on the dragon, and those fights always suck. They just suck. They just really suck.
Sorry, I understand.
Over voice chat, we're talking about like, oh, she was overcome by her power, wasn't she? That's why she's all catatonic. It was like too much for her or something.
Right.
And then once you win the battle, Mikhail kills 2 with a fire blast and evolves again. So that's convenient. So Sid always likes to go like, it's trivia time. And then he says some bullshit. He says some absolute bullshit.
Okay.
It's very silly. He's just a doofus.
But yeah, you're right. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in this game.
It's very weird. So yeah, Scent joins us now. And that's when he starts making up fake trivia and just being silly.
Does Scent resent the fact that you killed this person he cares about?
He acts like he doesn't really, but he's kind of cagey because he's like, oh yeah, of course I'll just join up. I'm just a big idiot, right? But in a kind of like grumpy way. And it seems like maybe he's just kind of like pushing down his feelings about 2 for later.
Okay.
Or something. And it's something that becomes somewhat relevant in other branches, but not this one.
Right, okay. This is an annoying... I mean, I guess it's not... It's. I guess if you know Yoko Taro going in, and you know that this first version of the game you're going to play is not going to be a satisfying ending. Like...
Yeah, it's kind of what you're here for.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it would be really annoying coming in, I think. But like...
Oh, yeah.
I guess the thing is, you don't have to make a branching game like this. You can have each path be its own complete, like, rich story. That is a thing you can do. You don't have to have the first one just be kind of light and crap.
Listen to this gal. Listen to her. She has no idea what's going to be happening.
Okay.
So it's time to assault the capital. We have to fight 1. So we're flying over what looks like a bunch of abandoned real-world skyscrapers. Mm-hmm. And there's this whole element I was trying to figure out on Twitter, and I was just getting more and more exhausted with people because they refer to the old world, and these are old world buildings. And it's like, wait, so was the old world our world? Is this entire series with Nier and Drakengard some kind of time loop? Like, is it so? And it'll never be confirmed or anything. And I don't know if that's supposed to be the case. It's just like, maybe. But yeah, there was an old world that just happens to look a lot like the buildings of our world, but they had magic and shit.
Yeah, okay.
But also in near our world ended up having magic and shit. So
It's like Adventure Time, but stupid.
The Mushroom Wars. So we're fighting one over all these abandoned buildings. She's on an even bigger dragon. Look at one, I like her design.
I was gonna say, along with 4, I kind of like 1's design.
Yeah.
It is horny in a way, but in a way where it's like kind of slightly classy horny, I guess.
No, yeah, and it's like relatively simple but iconic. It's a strong design, I think. And she has a big hoop.
Like she has like a nice outline with the big boots and the.
Yeah.
What's the thing you call? Wait, it's like the coat that just
her
goes
mantle
over your.
or whatever.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, her shrug or whatever. So we're fighting her in the air, and we're like, "Where's your disciple?" And one's like, "I don't have a disciple." And we're like, "Oh shit!" But then it's like, so it's fucked up that 4 is a virgin and toner, but the one doesn't seem to be fucking anyone. Is that okay?
Real quick, 0 is not fucking anyone either, right?
Oh no, she's fucking all of these boys.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, that's confirmed. They all have sex like during the night.
Okay.
Not on screen, but it is a known thing that is going on in the background.
Okay, so 3's disciple really legit did join because they didn't get to fuck 0.
Yeah, he was just horny.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, sometimes during these dragon fight portions, you fight a bunch of wyverns, and Mikhail, it's just like a joke that he hates wyverns and is like racist against them basically because they're like stupider dragons.
Okay.
But during this part, at one point, he says, "Stupid job stealing wyverns," and I did think that was just makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
0 and Mikhail end up getting separated in the battle. Oh no. So 0 has to fight on the ground, and she's starting to like feel bad, like she's being overcome by the flower or something. And we approach a dramatic chapel where 1 is waiting for us for a final boss battle because she has to be extra as fuck. And all the boys during this whole part have been acting like actually kind of cool and supportive and not too creepy, sexual and whatnot.
Not too creepy.
And
there's still some creepy in there.
I mean, come on. What do you want? But the reason they've been doing that is because it's about time to dramatically say goodbye to them. And she's like, "I have to go on without you." And she says, "Disciples can't maintain their form without an Antona's power. Sooner or later they'll disappear. So before that happens, I'm giving you your old forms back." And she runs their hand over them on screen, and you don't see them, but then it pans down and they're pigeons now. They're pigeons. They were always pigeons. They're birds. They were always birds. They were birds that had been turned into people to be sexy boys.
Amazing. Love it. I love it so much. It's like a really stupid, horny version of that that story of like the girl with the 5 brothers who were turned into cranes.
Oh yeah. Well, it just made me think of Hot to Full Boyfriend, the amazing dating visual novel where you date pigeons.
Oh, okay, right.
But God, like when that happened, I had no idea it was coming, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, they're birds, okay."
How long did you have to stop streaming for?
Well, luckily there's like another fight sequence that we have to go through after that of grinding. So I'm just like, I still just can't believe they're birds. They're just birds.
It implies that she was fucking birds the whole time.
Oh yeah, this girl's been fucking birds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Katara.
So we fight our way to 1 who's in this like big hall in a big giant dramatic chair reading a book all extra like the anime bee she is.
Yeah.
0 like steps in all dramatic like So 1's reading the book and she's like, "This city, apparently there was like a bunch of super advanced magical people and stuff who went away and we don't know what happened to them, blah blah, lore dump. Very interesting." And 0's like, "Why you learn about stuff you don't need to know about? I'm gonna fucking kill you." And poor Mikhail suddenly busts in or the big dragon, that's 1's dragon, busts in from the ceiling with Mikhail in his mouth and is like, "Oh fuck, Mikhail, oh no." But Mikhail just gets out of the mouth and he's fine.
Oh, cool.
And we have to do a boss battle against Gabriel that's so fucking busted and it sucked and it took forever.
I like it. I like how Mikhail is continually supposedly in danger and then he's just not. It's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
So battle, fight Gabriel. Michael gets super blasted by Gabriel to the point where he's gonna die.
Okay.
And Zero says, reincarnate right now, which is apparently, like, I guess because you could assume that's kind of a thing you can do because of the whole Michael McHale situation from the beginning. And he's like, Zero, you know why dragons can reincarnate? It's because we get a final wish. But I'm going to use my final wish to kill that dragon so you can win and stuff. And this is the first time she actually calls him Mikhail to his face because she's been like calling him dummy and stuff. And you can tell she's like, no, Mikhail, don't do it. I care about you. And so he dies. And somehow his wish doesn't actually manage to kill Gabriel. I guess it just like wasn't, he didn't have enough witch power or something.
Yeah. He's magic. He was Psyker.
Yeah. And so it just kind of like has weakened Gabriel. So one is like on top of Gabriel fighting you and you're on foot and you're all distraught. And she's like, Mikhail, he's still had a future. Ah! And one's like, you're the monster who made us in the first place, Zero. This is all your fault. And Gabriel does die and he despawns, which is funny because like Mikhail didn't despawn. I guess because she somehow summoned him as like a different kind of dragon. Whatever, it's stupid.
It doesn't matter.
So Zero finishes one off and is like, finally. But then
1 second. Let me take a large sip of my drink. I'm sure this is going to make a lot of sense.
She's stabbed from behind by one secret twin brother. And I need you to know that in all the other routes, this brother does not come up, seemingly does not exist. Only in this route 1, she has a secret twin brother that she made just in case she ever died.
That's great. It's the ending of Sherlock season 4.
It's so bad.
It's
and so
really
he just
bad.
stabs Zero from behind, and that's how Zero dies. And as he stabs her, her blood splurts out and turns his entire outfit just red, as if it had been dyed red.
Sure.
And it's because, so back when we started the game, he looked a lot very suspiciously like a character from Drakengard 1 that was like a little possessed girl named Mana. And her whole thing was that she was like the evil child of this cult that was like, ha ha ha, the Watchers, ha ha ha. And she like had an evil thing inside her or whatever. But she's just like a little blonde girl. And now he's dyed red because her outfit was red. And it's like, they are related. And
You sound very unsure.
we'll get more into that. So she tells him, like, ha ha, like, as Zero's dying, she's like, whatever, One, I planned to die all along, ha ha. Mikhail, thank you. And One's like, oh, fuck, what do I do now? My sister's dead, I've done my job, what do I do now with myself? Maybe I'll start a religion. Oh, wait, no, wait. And that when he's still going like, what do I do now? And then credits roll and it's like, oh, this is the end. Cut that, rewind it back. That literally happens. They rewind really quick. And One says, what do I do? Maybe I'll make a religion that worships my sister One. No, I'm One. I'll make them worship me. And so it's like implied that's like, okay, this is why that cult in Drakengard 1 exists, kind of like he set it up, and maybe the evil voice inside Mana was him. But this ending definitely does not lead into Drakengard 1. None of these endings lead into Drakengard 1. It's just like, maybe this is why that thing's like that. And I think there's some side material that's like, he's actually that Mana girl's great-great-great-grandfather in some way. Isn't that great? Who cares?
It's sort of funny because like I could see how like if you had like the Yoko Taro fanboys who were like a bit dumb, they would see this and go, "Whoa, it all links up," and without really processing how it doesn't actually make a ton of sense.
Damn. Hey, bros, if you're mad, you have to get mad at Fiend and not me. She called you dumb. I didn't call you dumb.
I'm not saying they're all dumb. I'm just saying that like, every fandom has dumb fans. They're all there.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of moments like that in this game where it's just like, oh, that thing from One. It all makes sense. Not really, but it is that thing from One, I guess. So that's cool. Okay, thank you. And then, so you see like Zero and One's and Mikhail's bodies laying there, and a bunch of pigeons come and land around them. And then some feet step in, and you don't know it yet, but they're Accord's feet. It's that girl who's been narrating.
Right.
And she's like, maybe we should have taken a different branch somewhere along the way.
Oh.
Things sure didn't work out here. I guess we'll have to try a different branch. Branch be unlocked. So she's some kind of time dimension traveler.
That
thing.
is, god damn it, that is so lame to just have someone walk in and say that. I mean, I guess that makes sense for this game when they've already done that a bunch, but Jesus. Ugh.
And yeah, that's the end of Drakengard for now. So I guess that'll be the end of part 1 of our podcast.
Okay. How many branches are there?
There are 4, because yeah, it only goes up to branch D, which was surprising me because, you know, Drakengard, the first one had up to branch E, but
Okay.
I guess branch E was that shitpost branch, so maybe they figured they couldn't do it or something.
Fair enough.
So we're going to get through some other branches because there's going to be a lot to talk about, but the other branches, they don't make any sense in terms of continuity. A lot of them are very short and are just like nonsense, and it's not a whole full story that makes sense as another branch or anything. It sucks.
Yeah, like I was saying before, like your main branch isn't its own story, and now you're telling me the other branches don't really turn into stories either.
I mean, kind of by the end of the last branch, because, you know, like the D is like basically the true end, more or
Right,
less.
okay.
There's something I should make clear that I probably should have made clear at the beginning of this. I kind of like this game.
Okay.
In terms of Yoko Taro games, I have the most fondness for this one because, like, the gameplay is obviously worse than Nier and Nier Automata, but there's like enough weird, kind of interesting things going on that I end up kind of liking it. Like, I like Zero and Mikhail, and I care about them, and I wish I could fix it.
Okay. So this is Ruby. This really is Ruby.
Yeah, because it's like, oh god, if I could just like take these pieces and put them in a mold of things that make somewhat sense, it'd be great.
You've been Ruby pilled.
God damn it! How dare you, Ruby me, Yoko Taro?
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to hearing about the fucking branches in episode 2.
But wait, but how do you feel about this? I mean, we did get the credits and we did end the game. So how'd you like the story, Fiend?
There's no story.
Pretty good, right?
She just
No.
went around killing her sisters, and then they did, and like, well, I guess we'll find out what happened elsewhere. So, cool.
No, she killed her sisters and then she died at the end.
Yeah. Rad. Great story.
Oh, and the one brother that we just found out exists. He's gonna start cult.
Yeah.
Yay!
And the horny boys were pigeons.
The horny
Great.
boys were birds. Yay! So yeah.
Yeah, this is not its own story. This is not like, you don't have to do this with branching stories. You can have a full, complete story as your first one. It can be done.
That's true. Like, when I really think about like what works about the story, you could have absolutely done it in a single branch. You didn't need to have this whole thing going on where it's like canonical that you're going through different worlds or whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking more of like, you know, the original Fate VNs, where like that's a branching story, but you know, the first run is its own story.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, visual novels have figured this out for generations.
Yeah.
But Yoko Taro games have always kind of been like this. It's just like a thing he does. He's just, the first branch just isn't really a finished story, and then some of the other branches will be kind of finished stories, but not really. And then you'll have some branches in the middle. They're like, nah.
It just
and
it just seems kind of slack. Like, you don't. It doesn't have to be this way. You're just not finishing your stories. Like, you're not writing a whole
doesn't
complete
have
line.
to be this way. We have to find another branch of reality, Fiend. We have to go back and fix this game.
Okay.
We'll have to do that later.
Okay.
So thank you all for coming to branch A of our Drakengard 3 coverage. And if you want to find out more before our next slushy, you could always go watch the VODs where you can suffer in a similar way but slower.
Yeah, you can go.
Because there's a lot of fighting stuff.
You can go watch Melanie play the games for fucking hours.
Hell yeah, it's so good. Oh, Accord gives you side missions, and they're like the only way to get the X-Spin stuff you need. And at first, they're just really dumb and easy, but then they get fucking impossible. But you need to be able to do them because that's the only decent way to get X, but they're fucking impossible. And you're really relying on these bomb guys that are just like randomly running around, and you can't defeat anything unless you really get the bomb guys to explode the things. And I hate it. Hate it.
Nothing worse than grinding in a game that's badly made.
Oh yeah, because you need to know like the ending D is the one that you need all the weapons for. So you need to get all the weapons to get the actual proper ending of the game. So get to grinding. You should play the game. Just kidding. Don't fucking play the game.
You like it? Don't play it.
Instead, you should have a nice anime.
Have a nice anime.